Alright, you are welcome. So this will be the second part of our tutorial, and we are still going to continue where we ended with the other one. So we are moving on with the tools as usual, and we will take you through a step by step so that by the time you finish with this our tutorial, you become a professional graphic designer on your own. So keep watching. Alright, you are welcome back. So what we are going to look at is gradient, how we can use the gradient to add beauty to designs. Now, most of the designs that you have been seeing, the designers make use of gradients too. So you can see that the down parts here and then the top, the colors are different. That's how you use the gradient to blend two different images or colors. Now, look at this carefully. You can see that there's a lion head here. Now, if you want to zoom in and out your work this side, and then once you click on it, it will be reducing if it is the minus sign, and then if it is the plus sign to increase. Or better still, just hold the mouse, click and hold. So if you click and hold, it will be reducing. But if you click and hold and you bring it forward, though is subtraction sign that is supposed to reduce, it will increase. And then you can also do the same thing for the plus as well. Or you use the shortcut Control on the keyboard and then you click on the plus icon. So Control plus the plus icon to make it bigger, and then Control plus the minus icon to make it smaller. So these are the shortcuts that you can be using. Normal copy and paste, undo is the same thing. Okay, so let's move on. Now we are going to apply the gradients. So the first method, we have various ways. Once you click on this, you see that I have an option here. Make sure that the first one is selected. We're going to apply it on this shape, image. Make sure it is also selected. Now the color. In your case, if it is the first time you're using gradients, it will be black and white. Then you can change it. So when you click on it, you just click on this color here, then you realize that you can change the color. So let me select this, click OK. If you want to know the opacity of this color, it's the top here, so you can change it. Now when you come to this side, it's color white, but we put the opacity to 0. So after you've selected this, just click down here and drag the mouse up. Now you realize that it is covering the base of the car. So you do that. If you don't do it well, it will not be nice. So take your time and do it well. Okay, so you can see that it is gradually covering the base. Okay, so that is how one way you can use the gradient. Now another method is, we are not going to use this one. Come to this side, right click, and then let me go back here, right click and then go to gradients. So you realize that as soon as you select go to gradients, it will give you. So this was what I was talking about, the default one. Then you can change it to any color that you want. Click on OK. You can change the angle. You click on OK. So that is another way. Or using this one was the gradient fill. Or if you don't want to use a gradient fill, then let's use Control Z to go back. Now let's move on to applying layer mask. So after you apply on the layer mask, you have applied it. So let me show it is selected. You can see that there's a white line on it. Then come to gradients. So anything that you do, all the effects, it will be on the layer mask. So let's assume that I right click and say disable. See, you can have it, and you can also delete this one from here, the layer mask, and you have your image back. Now the last aspect is merging or blending two images together. So I have this orange and the lion here. In that case, you are going to make use of another tool, which is the brush and layer mask. So let me select layer mask first, then the brush. Go to where you can adjust the size of the brush and select the soft one. When you select soft, you realize that the hardness has reduced. Now when you come here,
white and black. If the black is down like this and you paint or you color, the thing will not come. The line will not come. So click on the use this small icon here to swap it for the white to go down. Now when you realize that as soon as you start to, the lion will appear. Now you can see that this one, the blending is not nice. So with the soft edge, you can reduce the opacity a bit. And then when you click here, you will see that the thing is coming. But in this case, it's not like the first one. So that is how you can use the brush and then the layer mask. Let's move on to another tool. I'm giving you most now. It's like I'm covering most of the tools so that when we start with the design, it will not be difficult. Let's assume that I want to put this car in a frame. Come here, this is the frame, draw it, go to the move tool, pick the car and come and position it within the frame. So automatically it will pick it. Then you adjust the size. That's all. Good. So now that we are done like this, let me also give you another shortcut. Let's assume that you have been designing A5 flyer and then you just want to modify few of them and make use of the same flyer. Just go to image. When that working space is there, go to image. Come here and say duplicate. You give it a name. So all that you have to do is change the images and other things and you are good to. So let us make good use of this marquee tool. Let me select this particular portion of the orange. So it works just like all these tools. When you select it, you can apply specific effect to it. Now this blur tool, let us rasterize the layer first. Now let's come and increase the size and then let's select hard. So let's look at something. So you see we are applying specific effects here, but it's not every when I click here it will never come. Why? Because we have selected this particular portion. So this orange like this, you can just apply this. Now let's reduce the opacity a bit. So let's assume that I want this particular part to be a little bit. It will never affect this because we've used a marquee, rectangular marquee tool to highlight that part. The same thing, you can also use either the lasso or the pen tool to particular portion of an image. Then you apply an effect to that particular portion. So let me go back and say deselect. Now let's come to this tool. This area is dark, so we want to brighten it. So use this one to also brighten an image. Now look carefully, you can see that that dark area is now moving away. So that is how we use it. We use the first one, which is the blur tool, to blend, let's say the image is too bright, and then we use the dodge to brighten a darker image. So that is it. Now you can see that I can apply it and then you see it is taking effect. Look at the orange, this particular portion. Great, so we will end here. Now we've covered almost all the tools. So we use the same principle to design other flyer or banner. It's the same method. So let's meet in the next session. Alright, you are welcome. I'm sure by now you know how this particular flyer was made. So that was why we started from the very beginning, step by step. So the background that you see here, I use gradients, you know it, we've done that one, and I brought in images and text and what have you. There are some designs that when you see the picture quality is very bright and other things, don't worry, it's not magic, it's something that you can do. I think here is okay. Now come to this side and then right click. When you right click, select levels. In fact, all those things here, we've talked about the gradient, you can go through and then practice. When you select the levels, come to this side, wait for it to load like this. I'm dragging this one, look at the design. You can see that it's becoming darker and darker. So let's move to this side. We've realized that the image quality has improved. It's now very bright. So that is how, see, this one is even making it more brighter. So that is how you beautify images or whatever you want to call it. Let's adjust it in a way that it will make the design to be nice. Okay, so you can see, I think this one is, let me give it a white, a bit whitish. Yeah. So that is the levels. You can also apply bright hue and all those things. So if we uncheck this, look at the design, and then great. So we are done. This is a flyer. Now this same thing can be a banner. That is, if you select a bigger size, it cannot be printed on a sheet of paper, so they will print it on a banner. So that is it. It can also be a poster, depending on the size. That is how you get the name. So don't say you did not tackle on banner design. Okay, so the same skills we use to design this simple flyer, it is the same knowledge you use to design a banner and what have you. So it's the same knowledge, nothing new. Okay, so that is one thing I wanted to show you with the flyer design. You can use it in check poster and everything. You end this session here. Then in the next session, we are going to look at letterhead, then we look at core cards and product label. Hi there, with these skills that we've acquired, now design a simple product flyer. Pick any product at all, design it, and then share it on our various social media platforms at Prime Concepts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Design it and share it, and let's see how far you are doing. Alright, you're welcome. Thanks for following from the beginning up to this. Now we are going to design a letterhead, and normally you know that letterheads are A4 in nature, most of them. So just go to new and select the A4 sheet. Let's go to shape. Now you know how to draw shapes and other things, so I'll do those things off camera and then we will continue. Alright, so I have my shapes here, something simple. So I can even just like this and put in the name of the business, just like this. But let me show you how you can modify shapes like we did in the beginning. So click on this and let's send this a bit so that at least you have some design there. Now let me copy this, and for you to copy, the shortcut is Ctrl J. Now you realize that it has copied. So copied one is on top. Let me select the first one. I want to bring it down and give it a different color. So for you to get a color, just double click and then let me see. So then when you come down to the down part too, when we come here, let's go and then modify it. Okay, then this side should go a bit. Yes. Okay, so we're almost done. Let me delete this. I don't need it. Okay, so we are done. You put in the name of the company, the business, and what have you. So let me say name of business. It's not coming because the color is also red, so definitely it will not. So you do proper arrangement. Then you bring in the contact details. So letterhead is ready. Now let me show you a trick that you can use to change the color of most of the icons that you download, the social media icons. Always when you are downloading, make sure you download one with a solid color. So like you know already, right click and rasterize the layer first. After you finish, double click. Look at where I'm doing the double click. It should be on blending options. None of these is supposed to be selected. Now come to this side and then move this. You've realized that the black is fading, so you come to color overlay. Now you change the color, let's say red. Perfect. So that is how you change the color of most of the icons. Now if the icon is not like this and then they have a shape, that one you cannot apply the color overlay, so regard it accordingly. Now let me use this here. Okay, so let's do the same thing for the core icon. Have rasterized it already. Then you make sure that there will be no trees. So that is how you change the colors of icon that you want to use. So you use the same thing when we are learning, we are designing core cards. And okay, so we are almost done. Now you can take an object or a text or anything from one working space to the other. Now you select them here. by using pressing and holding the control down and clicking at this side, not on the working space. After that, come and pick it. Okay, so once you hover the mouse, it will open automatically and then you leave it. Now always make sure that your icons are small. They should be small, because if it is too big, it will distort the beauty of the design. Alright, so our letterhead is ready. We will end here, and then in our next session we will look at core cards. So with this skills, we want you to design a letterhead either for yourself or for a friend and share it on our various platforms at Soft Prime Concept. Alright, you are welcome. So thanks for watching from beginning up to this point. We are going to design core cards. Go to File, New. So we are going to use 8 inches by 4 inches. Click on OK. Great. So now in some cases you will see bleed. The bleed simply means that you add space so that when they print they can cut. That's all. So I will bring in shape, and you know it already. I will draw shape and then modify it for time factor. I'm not going to capture that one. I will do it off camera. All that I'm going to do is I'll use this and then take my time and get a nice design here. Alright, so let me change the color. Then I'll change the color for this. So something simple. You can put the name here. So let me copy my text and then everything will move on faster. So let me say the CEO. Let's give the title. Then you reduce the size. It shouldn't be the same as. Then name of business. Or say business name. Let me change the color. It's advisable you pick a color that is visible. So if you are designing the thing for only fronts, the core card you have front and back. If it is only the front, then you have to add the business activities as well as the contact details of the person. So let me copy and paste and paste them here. So our card is almost ready. Now you can add bulletin here. This one depends on how you want to do it. You can add bulletin. Now let me underline the name, and then that is all. I'll put another shape. The services too, you can put something under it. Now make sure that you get a logo, an icon for the website. Now one thing I want to show you is that normally when you are designing, your items should be in line. So use the ruler here, see, to ensure that everything is nicely positioned. Let me adjust this small. Alright, everyone needs a core card. So design one for yourself and share it on our various social media platforms at Saffron Concept. So the name is here. It's the same name: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, everywhere. So you can tag us and share your design. We want to know, or we want to see how you are progressing with your skills. Alright, you're welcome. So you are going to design something simple for a product, a label for a product. So I actually did this one for a client. So I'm going to take you through the process I followed in designing this, or how I came by this design. Okay, so you go to File, New. Now you have to take note that the size is very, very important. Make sure the person gives you the accurate size. So 6.3 inch and then 1.38. Then make sure that the resolution, all this while we are using 300, that is the default one. It depends on the version of Photoshop you are using. I think each version comes with a different resolution. So once the printout or the design is very small, make sure that you pick 500 and above. Normally I pick 1000, the resolution. The reason is simple. It will help you get a very nice printout when you finally print the work. So once you are done, you hit OK. Now you can see that the background is white. So I'll draw a shape. So let me draw the shape. Let me select a rectangle and then I'll fill it with a color. So I'll double click. So for the sake of time, you know how to bring in text and other things. So I have the text already. I've hide them. So I will activate them, then we can move faster. So great. So these are the tests that I have. Now let's see. You can see that some are bold, and it doesn't mean that I type this one differently. So if I click on select, everything will be set. So all that you have to do, if you want to bold, just select this, go to the font and then select bold, or let's say bold and italic. So you use that option to differentiate between the ingredients and what have you. So that was what I used. Now this one, you can see that all the ingredients, they are in line. It's not magic. So let me show you. Go to view and then select show rulers. So you bring the ruler, the line there, click and then bring it down here so that your design, everything will be on point. It's very, very important. So that your design will be nice. So let's assume you are designing something and you are using the icons. This is how you can get the icons. Good. So let me activate the real name. All that you have to do is simple. Now you have to go back and add the effect that we talk about. So if it is this one, go to FX and then the effect that you want to add. You add all. After that you click. So I add bevel and emboss, stroke. I want to use that one. So you can try another one. Now after you finish adding the various effects, you have to bring in an image. It's very, very important. So the image that we would like to bring, I'll put it in a shape form, a circle. Press the shift down to get a very nice circle. Go back to move to, then you position it well. Now you know how to bring a shape in, so I'll do that one off camera. Now let us modify this. So let's come to type and come to warp text. Now you can see that none is selected. So if you select any of these, this is how the text will behave. So let me select, let me hit OK. Great. So you see that this is how the text will look like. Very nice. Let me shift this one up. So you take your time, you look for some of the designs and then you do some and you modify it. So let me bring in the image and then you wrap up this session. So this is my image that I want to use. Let me right click and say create clipping mask. Now let me bring it here. So position it well. Great. Now you can see that the shape is so all that you have to do, instead of going to opacity and what, let's make it simple. Let's double click on this shape and then let's pick the same color. Now after that, let's go to stroke and then add stroke. You select the shape and everything. After that, hit OK. So our design is ready. So that is it. We are done. Now let's go to file. This time you will not select save as. Let's go to export and then select save for web. Great. So when this interface appears, save for web interface, you can see that everything is inactive. Just click on it. Now come to this side, click on and then select fit on screen. So you can read everything before you even save it as a picture. You realize that the first one that we were using, the save as, this you cannot get the options to read through. So it's very important. Use the save for web, then you can read everything here. And then you can also know the qualities of your design. Come to this side, you see very high, that is the quality. Blur is 0%, progressive and what have you. You can also change it to another format. That is it. After everything, you click on save. Now when you come up here, this is the original, the size is here, the optimized version, then 2 up, and then you can also say 4 up. So based on what you want to do, everything will show it up for you to see it. Now let's go to the first one, then you click on save. So it will take you back to where you want to save it. So this one, it will not give you a pop-up like the other one will give you a pop-up. You have to send it to maximum and save and other things. It will just save the work perfectly for you. So thanks for watching. Now in our next video, we will look at how we can brand a simple vehicle. Alright, so now that you have this skill, all that you want you to do is just pick any design for any label, design it nicely like this. You can imitate this one or you can pick any design. Then you share it on our various social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest. Just share it and then you let us know how you are improving upon your skills. Thanks for watching. Let's meet in the next section. Hello, you're welcome. Thanks for watching from the beginning up to this point. Now, I hope you've tried your hands on all the sessions that you've watched so far. So we are looking at how we can brand the vehicle. Now, in branding a vehicle, you have to take into consideration the door handles, the mirrors, the boots, and all the handles where you have the reflector, so that when you are printing, you are designing, you will not put text there, because when you finish printing and you are pasting them on the vehicle, you will be cutting and then you will not see the write-ups. So take note, and then you don't have to also put in plenty things because it's a form of advertisement. Now that you have this basis, let's move on and then start. So basically, these are the things I want to see on the vehicle. Everything here, you know how to do it, with the exception of the background. Now the background, when you go to FX, you go to FX, come to gradient overlay. Now when you select the gradient overlay, come to the gradient and then you hit on it. So I pick only two colors, light green, deep green. I just mix them and then I put two whites. So if you want to add a color, just click on it, and then when the mouse change to a hand like this, you see that I say click to add. So you just click and it will add the same thing. If you don't want it, just remove it. Now after you finish, you click on OK. So when you come here, linear is there and other things. So I selected angle, and that is how it is behaving this way. Then I also change the angle to -68. Great. So that is all that you have to do. After that, you save your work as picture using the various method of saving, either the save as or the exports, and you select save forward. So when you are done, this thing that you see here, we call it mockup. Just go to freepik.com, and then you can search for all the things that you've done. You can search for mockup over there. If you want to know how to use this mockup proper, I have previous videos on our channel. Just go over any of them, the ones that are graphic design, and then you follow on how to use the mockup. Great. So once you are done, that is all. This one is just for internet and then social media. The real one, take your time in design as well. Great. So let's look at two tools, then we will end the session. The first one is, before you can do anything, make sure you rasterize the layer, the image. The first thing is the spot healing brush. So what it does is that you can adjust the brush here. What this one does is that, let's assume that you don't want this whitish thing, the fat. All you have to do is drag and paint on it and then wait for some time. By the time that black thing is no more, it will disappear from there. That is it. And then we also have patch tool. Then the patch tool, let me demonstrate so that you get the understanding. Let me circle this side, and then let me drag where I selected and bring it here. So what the patch tool does is that if a portion is not good, circle that side and then you drag it to a portion that is nice to replace that thing. So that is the spot healing brush. Congratulations, you are now a graphic designer. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Kindly subscribe and then don't miss our next video.